I thought, I should have just stayed. I should have stayed. It wasn't that bad. Like, you made it 23 years. You made 26 years total. Your kids are like college and one's almost out of high school. Like, you made it. You made it. Like, it didn't matter at this point. They can do their own.
You know, there's been a lot of divorce in the last couple decades, especially. It's just a thing, you know, it's not taken seriously. It's not a big deal. I mean, to the women it seems like that. But now what we're seeing is a lot of regret because they believe that, you know, it's all going to be glorious. The real Prince Charming is waiting for them. But he's not, because this is not how fairy tales go. It isn't. Real life hits you in the face pretty quickly when you're manifesting something better and not thinking, what's really my responsibility and how much of this is just me? You know, when you're letting your emotions rule you, bad things happen. So today we're going to look at that regret. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry to smile, but it's a little satisfying, isn't it? It's a little satisfying because of the destruction that they cause. She said, you know, she'd been with a man for 26 years and had raised children with him. We're going to see more of her story in just a minute. But welcome back to Far From Eden. Oh, Blondie, you know, you guys, get ready because she is going to demonstrate, not on purpose, the emotional roller coaster, the feelings, how everything's led by feelings, and how, you know, you don't really make great decisions when that, you know, when you do that. And I just think she is the best one to show it. She had everything. She had everything. And that's how they go. Like nothing else is good enough. Absolutely nothing else is good enough. You know, they cannot be pleased, like the Garden of Eden. Eve had everything. She had everything. And it wasn't good enough. So see how coherent this is.
And asking questions about this new life after divorce. And I don't know, I'm in a different stage today. Honestly, I literally have been having a great week, amazing week. And then all of a sudden today, my emotions, I had the craziest thoughts. And I wonder, does anybody else feel this way? Like, I feel like I'm in mourning of the life I thought that I was going to have. And I'm kind of pissed at myself. I stayed.
You should be angry at the propaganda because you have to ask yourself, why did you think you were going to have the life you thought you were going to have? You know, where did that come from? Examine your entitlement, please.
In a marriage for 23 years and built up a family and my ex's career and everything. And we literally just got to where it was supposed to be everything we dreamed of. Like, owned a company, making, you know, almost $1 million. And that was my breaking point. And I left it all, left it all. And I'm not a person that is about money, and I'm not a person who feels like they have to have like labels and name brands and all that stuff. But I really have found that, like,
you know what I've never had to say? I've never had to say, I'm not really a person that's into labels and stuff like that because it wouldn't even occur to me. I don't know. Those sunglasses look expensive. That hair looks expensive. She's talking about money, but she's not fixated on it. No. Her problem is this is what her problem is. And it's a problem that a lot of women have. She thought she'd have the money, she'd have the kids, she'd have the house, she has the husband, all this stuff. But guess what? Say it with me. I'm not happy. That comes from inside of you, ma'am. That's no one else's responsibility. Money's not going to do it. Things are not going to do it. Status isn't going to do it. You have to have something inside of you that is greater than yourself. I personally have Jesus. When people have no actual meaning and purpose, they look to exterior things to make them happy, and it doesn't. And then what happens? Can't figure out why I'm not happy. Can't figure out why I'm not happy. Oh, who's this guy that's always around? Ugh, irritating, right? He's irritating. It doesn't pick up his socks or doesn't take out the trash at the exact moment I want him to. Doesn't buy me flowers when I want them. So then you're not happy.
I've kind of been in mourning of the like, oh my gosh, like I gave it all up. And I don't have a traditional career. I'm a photographer that in my marriage, it was made to be a hobby. I never could outdo my other. I had to drop everything, to keep up.
Never could outdo my other. Is that the husband? Are you in a competition? Usually they are. It sounds like you have a passion for photography. That's nice. And you had the opportunity to pursue that and not have to worry about if it was, if it made money or this, that, or the other, but you got to have your own thing. That's a privilege that your husband afforded you. I don't think she gets that.
With the family for their needs to make sure everything built in their career, their business, all that. So it wasn't like I had a 9-to-5 where I got 401, where I got steady income, all that. Yes, I market the crap out of my business. Yes, I'm an amazing photographer. And yes, I have so many amazing clients that are great. But the reality was like everything was around my family. So when I chose to leave, I gave it all up, like all up. And most people are like, oh, well, you should have got your end in court. No, South Carolina has some crazy, crazy rules. And
you should have got your end in court. What she's saying is you should have gotten more money in court. You should have gotten more of his money in court. But South Carolina has some crazy rules that are fair, woman. See how they think? In a way, she did him a favor, but I'm sure it doesn't feel like that to him. And it sounds like she resents giving to her family and supporting her family in that way. These women don't have the value and a heart of service. They resent it. If they understood that they were pouring into their family as only they can as the mother, and they knew that that was honorable to give without expectation of getting something back, they would be much happier. Their perspective is what makes them unhappy. I'm going to put myself into this. I know it's just like a woman to personalize it, right? I have multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed at 22. It's all about perspective. You can sit there and not be grateful for the great things that you have and the people in your life. And you can think all about yourself and what you're getting instead of thinking, what can I contribute? And I think that is the major problem. And it comes from how you're raised. And unfortunately, you can't turn a woman who's, 25 even into that, because you learn that when you're like 6 years old and earlier. The concepts of giving and not expecting, feeling good about what you're doing for others. And when that value has not been ingrained in you, this is what you get.
I came out of a situation where I had been mentally abused, financially abused for 23 years. Like, I was gaslit for so long that when I finally left, I had no clue that the worst was yet to come in the 1 year of separation. And so it's weird because I find that I just thought today for a split second, and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I thought, I should have just stayed. I should have stayed. It wasn't that bad. Like, you made it 23 years. You made 26 years total. Your kids are like college and one's almost out of high school. Like, you made it. You made it. Like, it didn't matter at this point. They can do their own separate life and all that. You made it to the point where you guys were making so much money and you had big houses and you could do whatever you want. And
She clearly didn't look forward to one day being a grandmother and her husband being a grandfather to her children's children. And judging by the way people are raised, she probably didn't raise them to be, fathers and mothers and husbands and wives, because they're raised to go, have their careers, they can pay taxes to the overlords. A lot of women do this when they've raised their children because they lose their identity. And they're grieving, losing their children growing up. And there's a lot of hormonal stuff that's going on too. But the husband is the scapegoat. That's why she's confused.
Relax. And I literally just called my friend. I was like freaking out because, like, I'm the biggest person that keeps me back. Like, I'm terrified. I don't have 401k. My counsel did not have my back. I was so traumatized when I got out and then terrorized for the next year that I couldn't even think straight to help the people that wanted to help me. And the people I entrusted to help me didn't help me. And there's just timelines that you can't stop. And so,
lady, you're making no sense. Making no sense at all. I hope, well, I think we know. This is scatterbrain stuff. Is this how you made the decision to break up your family? Was all this confusion and not knowing what you think? I'll tell you a secret. Oftentimes, when women are thinking, we're actually feeling, and we think those feelings are thoughts. I had to realize this about myself. And so sometimes I realize I don't have any thoughts right now. I only have feelings. Feelings come first. And this lady is swimming in them. And when you're swimming in your feelings, don't make decisions because you're not thinking. But that takes self-awareness, and I don't think she has it.
It is what it is. And, I'm 47 years old. It's not like I'm 25. I'm healthy, kind of. I have an autoimmune disease, which means it's life-threatening for the rest of my life. Things can change. But it's not like I'm an invalid and can't do anything for myself. But it is terrifying. Like, I could have stayed. I'm so mad that I think this way. I could have stayed. My life would have been so much easier. I could have just gone and done whatever I wanted. Kind of. I mean, I say that, and then I think as I say that, I'm like, but you couldn't. It's like so weird that my brain thinks that way. And I called my girlfriend and I told her, it was like, I probably should have just stayed. I should have just stayed. It wasn't that bad. And she just started, she's like, Jenna, what are you talking?
She just said financial abuse, gaslighting, da 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 da. And then it wasn't that bad. Your brain confuses me, ma'am.
Talking about, like, literally, they were horrible to you. They told you to shut up. They told you not to breathe, not to eat. Every little part of your life, every day you were miserable and you were crying. You are not remembering that. And then I just keep thinking, I'm like, but I had a huge house and all my bills were paid for and I never had a.
But she's not about the money. And you know what she also doesn't realize drives me crazy is that he was taking care of you. Don't you understand? That's love. He was taking care of you, and it sounds like he wasn't asking for very much in return. Maybe He was asking for a little bit of respect, and you took that as abuse and gaslighting and stuff like that, which often happens.
Think how they were going to get paid. My grass was cut. Well, not the last year of separation. But you know what I mean? All the basic things to keep the image up.
She couldn't even get her grass cut after she basically kicked him out. That's the thing. They leave their husbands and then they realize how much those husbands were doing. And I wished she would realize right here, I really took him for granted. I should have been more grateful. I should have treated him better. But I don't hear any of that. I just hear, I want my big house. I want to do whatever I want. But remember, she said, it's not about the money. She's not that kind of person. Okay.
And I gave up my entire image that I was trained to have for my family for 23 years. Like, I was the stay-at-home mom, and I made the image of...
Perfect. This is what I'm talking about. A fake unicorn. The image, she put on a cloak of unicorn, but inside, she didn't have the ingrained values of serving. She didn't have a heart full of gratitude. She was a little spoiled. And that's something you have to look for. You have to look at how they're raised. I know I'm always telling you it's not safe to date and definitely not safe to marriage, government marriage, no. But I know a lot of you guys still want to find a good woman. I will tell you, you have to find out how they're raised. What were they taught when they were little? You know, were they taught to give? Were they taught to be responsible? Were they taught that they have duties and responsibilities to the household, to the family? Were they taught to emotionally regulate?
We were the perfect family. I have beautiful children. They were dressed right. They, did top sports like cheer and football and went to all that stuff. And I was, the cheer mom and, did all that stuff and then did photography on the side just to make money, to make ends meet while he built his career up. And I stayed long enough to just give it all up when it was like right there. And I'm so mad at myself because I'm not this way. I don't think this way. And it's funny because I feel like it's almost made me hard in dating, because anybody who is accomplished and all that, I'm like, oh, no, like, I'm never going to depend on a man again, ever, especially after South Carolina laws. I want love. Don't get me wrong. I want love. I am a forever girl. Like,
I don't want to depend on a man, because then there's something they expect of me. That's what they don't want. And she doesn't like those South Carolina laws, because that they wouldn't let, you guys all need to move to South Carolina now. South Carolina laws didn't want to give her all his money.
Learned in this dating scene, I am not a date around kind of girl. I also learned that, like, I immediately don't want full contact boyfriend. Like, I need to heal. And do I want that one consistent where, like, hey, you want to go to a football game? Do you want to go to a bonfire? Do you want to have fun? That kind of thing? Yeah. But do I want to be on lockdown and have someone call me every 5 minutes and be like, what are you doing? Where are you at? No, I don't want that. I've got
football and a bonfire. I mean, are you 18? You're 47 years old. Don't need to be going to a football game and a bonfire. I mean, maybe like a pro football game or whatever. But like, she sounds like she's going to go to the high school, like, homecoming football game, because bonfire. Like, this is not grown-up behavior. Spoiled child who was faking the unicorn thing to get something. And now she thought she could take it from him. Oops.
got to heal myself. I've got to make sure whatever's right is right. And if that person comes along in my life and, it continues and it progresses, like, I hope they're forever, but I'm not searching for it. But it is hard to be a single female when you're 47, when your kids are out. It's not like I have little kids. I always say, if I had little kids, this would be not even a question, because that instinct comes in. I have to my kids, I got little kids. I got to get them up for school. I got to get them to here. I got to get them to there. I got to go to work. I got to do that.
You mean you would have a purpose? You're close. You're getting closer. You're getting closer, lady.
I don't have that. I'm literally at home. The worst time of my day is after the gym at night when the house is quiet and silent and I just am in my thoughts. And it's so hard. Like, I'm my own boss. If I don't go to work, if I get sick, nothing happens. And my Jenna photography would just crumble. And I love what I do. I have a passion for it. I love it. But
welcome to real life, honey. If you don't work, you don't earn money. This is shocking at 47. It's kind of satisfying, though. It's like spoiled little girl.
In my head. Like, I'm literally in my head. And I'm booking shoots and I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited. But every time I think future or long run, I freak out because my future was right there. Like, it was solidified. Like, I was comfortable for the rest of my life. Maybe not mentally in my relationship, but financially, I was fine. And I gave it all up.
And it didn't occur to her to fix this. You can fix this, lady. I don't understand. They blow up their families. They leave their husbands. And then they have these sort of come to Jesus moments where they're realizing what a mistake it was because, he was doing his part. The problem was she wasn't doing her part. And part of your part is to get on board and make sure you're grateful for what he's doing. You seek purpose in your life. That's not his responsibility, right? But if you're spoiled, you think it is. She should have thought of all of this beforehand, but she was reactive and emotional and made a horrible decision without thinking it through. We're not good at decisions.
What? To be happy. And I know time will come. I know that will happen. And I'm not a materialistic person and I'll never, ever be with someone for money. But it's terrifying. Like, am I the only one that feels this way? Like, I think people just think, oh, well, she's blonde, blue eyes. She's a gold digger. She did this. No. We had nothing when we started. Actually, I had more money than my ex. And, I had my own career. And then as things happened, I stayed home and, followed his career. So I'm just.
As you should, as a helpmeet.
So frustrated with myself. I keep telling myself, I'm like, you're not. I remember the bad. It's right here. But I also am like, maybe I should have stayed. It was like stable in every other area but that. Like, is my mental health really that important? And then my friends remind me, they're like, yes, like you're just in that crazy.
Don't listen to your friends. Your friends don't really have your best interest at heart. They really don't. If they're telling you to leave your husband and reminding you of all the bad things, that's not a friend. Not a friend. But I guess without God, I mean, what are you just going to say that? Just going to dig up more drama, focus on the negative, probably because their lives are terrible too, because of their outlook and their perspective. Life is hard. Stuff is going to happen. Most of the time, you're not going to be happy. But these princesses do not realize that. So when they get unhappy, like, well, it must be his fault. Isn't that funny? Aren't you, the ladies, just thought of something. They don't want the man to have control, right? They think that's oppressive, mean and stuff, but they sure do attribute their feelings to him. Well, that's giving him control. That's too much. That's very unfair. But it's a pattern. Every single one of them does it. Every single one. And they're blowing up their families over it.
In between stage. And I'm trying to work through it. I'm trying to work through the process. But it's terrifying. It's terrifying to start over at 47. And I would love any tips. Like, does anybody else feel this way? Like, I know men probably have the same situation too, but I really think it's more terrifying, like me as a female. And I even consider going to different types of jobs and careers, and I love my job. Like, I make good money, but I'm so terrified.
Feminist. I think it's more terrifying me as a female. Why is that, sweetheart? You're not strong and independent? You're not, I am woman, hear me roar? That's weird. Schrodinger's feminist.
I'm like, I don't have 401k. Like, I don't know. Is this another stage of divorce? I'm happy, but I go into these random thoughts of, you gave it all away. Like, was it worth giving away?
Nope.
And I know it was. I know it was for my mental sanity. I know it was for my happiness. It will all come together, but it's still terrifying to start over at this age. Anybody else feel this way? Like, is this any tips? Just let me know. I'm trying to figure it out. And I know I did what was right, but it's hard to know you gave away. My ex will probably never make less than $1 million every year. And I'm starting over. And basically as if I'm a 20-year-old again.
Well,
and it just doesn't seem fair, but I have to quit crying and just do it. So any tips and advice? Is this normal? How did you get through this stage? Tell me what you did, because I have no choice but to do it. Hey, it's Jenna.
Well, my advice would be go back to your husband and beg for forgiveness and to be able to come back. Tell him, I'm so sorry. I made such a mistake, etc., etc. I mean, get on your knees and beg. Do a lot of introspection and realize that this is a lot of your own attitude and reaction to the change in your life now that your kids are grown up and you're sort of trying to figure out your own purpose. And you externalize that and blamed it on your husband. That's why you're so confused. And she's like, I know I did what was right. I know I did what was right. And then these thoughts come to me. You know why? Because the truth always wins. That's the truth bubbling up. It's she's trying to go and pretend that she's got this glamorous future and she did the right thing and she stood up for herself, but the truth comes back and haunts her. And I don't know if she'll ever realize it, but she is one of many women. And thankfully, we have Chick Talk where they'll just go on there and confess. And I'm glad, because these husbands don't deserve it. Now, are they perfect? No. But they can't win, and they get blamed for everything. You get blamed for her feelings. Her feelings are not your responsibility. They're not. So I hope the men realize that it's not their fault, because that husband might be thinking, I did everything for her. I gave her everything. I tried to be the best husband. I tried to be the best father. And it was never good enough. She was never happy. And then she just left. So now if they ever have grandkids, it's going to be one house for granddad, other house for grandma. When you break up after that long, hopefully you have relationship with, his brothers and sisters, his parents, and likewise. And we used to have that until people started moving all over the place for jobs and stuff and breaking those ties. And those ties are what used to hold people together. She should be talking to his sisters and her sister and her mom, not her friends telling her garbage feminist stuff about, you should leave him and he shouldn't do that to you, because they don't get this full story. We never talk about what we do, how we act, our tone. We just give one side of the story because we just want our ears tickled about, oh, you're such a victim. Oh, you're such a victim. I don't know why we feel so good to be victims, but it's just one of the things we do. Anyway, thanks for watching that specimen with me. I think she's a good one. I feel really bad for her, actually, because it's society, pressuring us. But at the end of the day, it's her fault. And she caused a lot of destruction. So on that note, stay away from the destruction. Feed your souls. Protect your peace. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.